It was funny because actually when I was asked to do this interview, I was thinking I shouldn't do this because I'm still dealing with depression. I shouldn't be allowed to talk about it if I haven't conquered it yet. But then I realized it and I talked with my parents and I was like, why do we have to have conquered something to talk about it? And if we're trying to get people to talk about it, why should we be talking from the other end? We're just in the tunnel with them. And I think that that's something that's really powerful because I think when people start talking, when they're still dealing with something, it can really move people in other ways. Mental illness is something that has actually affected me for a lot of my life since I was around grade 5 for various reasons. It's always been something that I've had to really keep in mind, whether it being anxiety or depression, it's always been there. I was bullied very hard as a kid. I was very on the outskirts just because I looked weird and I was a tall girl, and not saying that's a bad thing, love my height. And I probably started to feel very, very depressed in around grade 6 up to grade 8. I just hated the way I looked. I hated the way that people talked to me. I could not stand myself in the mirror. I couldn't really talk to those around me. It got to a point where I had a plan to end my life, and I was about to carry through with it, and then my mom walked in the room, and it was a big shock to me. I just broke down. I was like, I don't know how I've gotten this far without really realizing. It was like I wasn't even myself at the time. After that, I got admitted into the Youth Crisis Center. So in there is where I was treated for depression and anxiety. Then I moved schools. I went to PA because I wanted a fresh start. There it was a lot better. I went on a missions trip to Guatemala. I got a parasite, which is awesome, not awesome. From then, I just felt very sick. So I would get sick, and then I would get anxiety, and then I'd get sick. And it got to a point where I couldn't even leave my house really because I just felt so confined by like my health, kind of just like where I was at. And that lasted a while. I really had to really focus on coping mechanisms to try and conquer it. And then first year of university, I probably hit a low point for my anxiety. I hit rock bottom. I couldn't even control my emotions anymore. But the funny thing is that since that point, I haven't had anxiety since. It's kind of amazing how once you hit your rock bottom, that's when you can really start to see everything around you and you have nothing else really to lose, and you can just kind of start building up and chipping away. I realized that I don't need to be perfect anymore. It's okay not to be okay. If everyone has these ideas that we have to be perfect all the time because we see everyone else being perfect, we're all going to be living in this false reality, and no one's going to want to open up because they don't want to be that flawed one. But the funny thing is that we're all flawed. And I think that it's just really almost empowering to just really wear your heart on your sleeve, because when you open up to people, that's when people can really see who you are. And I think that there's something very, very touching about people just being completely vulnerable with one another, because that's when you open yourself up to attack or love, and all I've found so far is love. And I think that if someone else decides to do that too, they can get that as well. Sports has been a really big part of my life just because it's always been an outlet. It's always been something that I can really use my abilities in, and I felt like I've always been somewhat successful in. And it just makes me feel better about myself, I guess. And also just being able to get out there, get active, feel all these endorphins rushing through my body. It's something that I really, really, really enjoy. It's just a big difference to like want people to photograph me, and I just find it really cool because I think that the thing that I love the most about modeling is that it's sort of like body art. It's like you're telling a story with your face, with the way that you're looking at the camera or looking away. I don't know, it's really cool to be a part of something that you're trying to make a final product. I've always gone to a Christian school, but God has always been on the back burner. I was always so mad at him, and I thought that that wasn't allowed. So I thought that, oh, I must just not even, I just put him off to the side. I was like, that's not really something that I'll acknowledge right now. But I realized after my first year that if I felt anger towards something, I must believe in it. And so that's when I kind of started my journey. I started going to chapel more. I started just really trying to make my God my go-to. So many people try to find a lot of attention in different ways. I've just been trying to force my attention onto God because I think that that's something that's really important, that I find my faith and I find where I stand in that before I start to spread out and branch out into other areas. Because I think that you have to find identity in things that you can control. And I think that I can control my faith. It's okay not to be okay. I think that a lot of people think that in society we need to just be perfect and have everything together. But I swear to you, behind all those doors, everyone's a little broken inside. And I think that once we start to open up and really wear our hearts on our sleeves, that's when we can really start to mend and heal ourselves. Not just personally, but like in a community, because I think that that's when people can really bond together and really support one another.